examining the value of work produces so many ideas, so many threads, that there seems to be no end to it. But that makes sense since it's such a big part of our lives. We want our work to matter. So we try to find meaning in our work and conversely find work that matches those things that we think have meaning. The more closely we can match the two, the more complete we feel in our work. After all, it can absorb our lives. If it's work that gives us our greatest value, or at least feels like it does, is it so negative then to lack balance in other areas of life? If we try to find that value and fail, we often shift our priorities to other areas of life, trying to find meaning from relationships or hobbies or philanthropy or other areas. What if you've found value in your work, but the work itself changes around you in the form of shifting jobs, realigning priorities, or a change in the fundamental nature of your field of work? Where do you go then for value? If you drive that value yourself, the answer is always self-derived, but that's possibly the most difficult way in practice to enable value, since it requires the greatest effort. There's a lot of potential there, but also a lot of pitfalls, and so we often won't or can't go there. In anything we do, anything we work on, we can ask the question, if the goals of my work are accomplished, not only minimally, but to an exceptional degree, how will this impact people? Will I be happy? Will I be satisfied with that impact? For some, that will produce an easy answer, for others, less so. The type of work that produces one answer or the other may differ greatly from person to person, as we have equally greatly different value structures from person to person. But in any case, if the answer is no, that I will not be satisfied, then we have to ask, why? At that point, you've identified an underlying issue. It's possible, after all, to feel valued in your work, and yet that your work itself is not in and of itself valuable. It's a little trick we play on ourselves to give ourselves some semblance of meaning when we know what we're going to be doing day to day. Well, if we ask this question and we answer it this way, what comes then? It's not always easy to make a change, but let's say you can. Even a small change, an incremental change, a slow growth toward the place that you want to be. That being said, do we need to derive value this way? Or should the value in our lives come from within? A life of labor that is detached entirely from external meaning may be fruitless, but that depends on whether we can effectively assign at least a somewhat objective value to the word fruitful. On the other hand, a life of labor that takes its value entirely externally may fall into many people's favor, but does that make it good work at the end of the day? Is the value that's lent to it now the same value that will be perceived for it a century from now or a millennium? Should the value of work be for ourselves, for the here and now, for other people in society, or for the future, or perhaps for a balance of all of those? I have opinions, but not answers. The depth of thought gained in pursuit of these answers is rewarding in and of itself. It can help us make decisions, think out possibilities, and maybe even come a bit closer to understanding an objective truth about the value of human labor. Personally, I've learned plenty just from this kind of exploration and thinking this way, and I'm hopeful that you can as well.